Okay, so hello everyone, back again. So I wanted to at least show you what I'm going to try to do here as part of my many projects as I work on the RV through the winter. Is one of them is I need to kind of reorganize the electrical stuff, especially up near the dashboard, where I have many wires going many different directions for many little things. I did my gauges up. I did a lot of different stuff here. And what I'm looking to do is kind of reorganize things and keep things neat and easy to understand and figure out where things are, not only for myself, but for the next person. So what I've done here is I bought two different types of fuse blocks, what I call fuse blocks. This one's a C-Choice Products one. It's got just the regular terminals here. It's got slots for the regular knife blade type fuses, and then it's got a block up here for the grounds. So when you have, there's the ground here, and that's a ground plate, and you're supposed to be able to put all your grounds in here and all the clips and all this good stuff, and go from there. So you've got yourself kind of a nice, oh, there's nothing in the back, figures, set up there. I did buy this other one. I bought this kind of optional one here, or alternate one. It's got a kind of a nice cover to it. All these little squares, they have stickers. They have a little sheet of stickers with different descriptions on them. You can stick on there. And then what it has here, again, it has the kind of the ground terminals with the ground. You can see the negative, right? And then positives up here, and all the positive supply, voltage supply, comes off of these. The knife fuses go in here, but what I like about this one supposedly, it claims, if the fuse blows, this little red LED turns on to let you know, hey, that's the one that's blown. So it's almost like you don't even have to check the fuse. This is supposed to be indicative of a blown circuit. And so you don't even have to kind of try to hunt around, because these knife blade fuses, if you don't have a really good kind of side view of them, they're a little hard to tell that they're blown. And not like the old ones. I have ones on my BMW that are just like a ceramic cylindrical piece with a piece of foil over the top of them. And when it blows, you can see it. You look right in it, and you can see that piece of metal is just blown off. And you can see it's busted, and it's done. Very quick and easy. Except when little bits get into your fuse block and start shorting out other circuits, which happened on my 82 323 back in the day when I was driving to Canada. That was a fun situation there, especially with the engine shutting off when it was shutting off the fuel injector pump. But anyways, so I think I'm gonna, instead of this one, I'm gonna use this one. And I just got to figure out where I'm going to install this thing. It's got room for 4 screws. I got to figure out where I'm going to install this thing. I want to install it up towards the dashboard, but put it in a place that I can get to it readily without going absolutely bonkers too. And I don't want to do a ton of splicing with my wires if I don't have to. So I want to keep it up close to the dashboard, and that way I'm not into monkeying around with not only splicing, just a whole bunch of additional rewiring I don't want to do. And this will also give me the opportunity to fuse a lot of circuits that right now they're just, the positives are kind of shoved in an existing terminal, which is not cool. I don't like to do that on an old fuse box, a fuse block from a Chevy P30. And so hopefully this will clean everything up and help everything run just a little bit better, because the connections will be a lot more solid. So stay tuned. I'm gonna next jump. We're gonna be looking for locations to put this in the RV. I'm back in the RV right now, and I just want to kind of show you a little bit of some of the electrical. It's probably pretty typical of the electrical stuff you'll see in an older RV. Along here we've got cruise control, which I have no idea if this even works anymore. I've never used it, and you can see where the wiring's going for that. I've got some other wires here that run up the control stalk on this side here, right here. I have no idea what those are. Those look to be for some of the regular control column controls, like the turn signal and all that stuff. And then what you're seeing here, sorry for the jumping around with the camera, you're seeing a lot of grounds basically. See all these here? And I've got a screw here, which I put in myself, grounded it to the metal, which is, I know, grounded to the frame. And that's basically what I've used in a lot of circumstances to basically put on additional accessories and all that good stuff. So some of this wiring here, you see some of it is going off to the turn signals, and you can see there's a whole mess of other wiring here again that's going off to the turn signals, and actually some of it is also for my fog lights. There's some other stuff here too. Look at, there's like a coaxial cable hookup, which I never use, and it's sitting here, and it's actually the thing that actually sits out here. This is this thing right here. See, so I guess I can hook up cable television if I wanted to. I've never used this at all. But as we get through, and you can see here I brought my fuse blocks. I'm gonna climb up into the rig here. I can. Here we go. Close my door. Gotta have my plankton here facing out that way. Now I'm going to open this hatch. This is the hatch you would normally see, and it's a little constricted here, I'm sorry. On these Allegros, you have basically this little flip top latch. You pop open, and you can get access into the spaghetti, which is your wiring system. I'm going to bring this down in here. This is going to be facing towards the driver's instrument cluster, which is right in here. As you can see, there's the instrument cluster. You can see the circuit panel. There's a speedometer cable right here. And if I pan back over here, there's a radio. And you can see a whole lot of splices. Different things for both the radio. You can see there's a radio splice. That's run into like a whole bunch of the speaker cables. And again, I apologize for spinning the camera around. I'm just trying to get a good situation going here. This is for my clock, which is right there. And I have all these instruments here, right, that I've rigged up. And those all get wired up from up in here. You can see the different wires. There's my tachometer. There's the green wire that goes to the distributor, and obviously the ground. There's you got a red wire, and you got a black wires for power and for ignition. So all this here has been rigged up one at a time. You know, there's various grounds in here. We've got one right here that's got a ton of stuff hooked up to it as grounds with all different color cables. Green with yellow with green stripe. So there's just a lot of, there's even a vacuum line here. See, look at, there's the vacuum line for my vacuum gauge, and it runs obviously down into the engine compartment. So I got all this stuff here that's just literally, I mean, cobbed together. It's just, you know, you look at this, anybody that would normally look at this and go, holy cow, there's just a lot of junk here. And how do you clean it up? And the worst part of it is, and I'm going to spin the camera again real quick. Look at that. I mean, this is what I'm dealing with. And at first glance, it's like, oh my God, this is horrible. I mean, I've got wires every which way. And then when you get down here to like everything that gets powered, it's just insane. I mean, look at all this stuff. And I know a lot of this is running off. It's like it only runs when the key gets turned on. But then I got shoved, you know, little, you know, positive terminals, those little knife terminals shoved down in here. You know, that looks like a fused section, but it's not. It's actually just for power. Some of these work, some of them don't. And it just gets to the point where it's like, okay, this is nuts. There needs to be a better way to make this come together. And so that's why I'm going to get this fuse block thing working. But when you look in here, obviously, it's like, where are you going to put this thing? Because it's like, there's no real decent place to put it where, one, you could get it in the first place, and two, you're looking at it going, okay, I could probably get it installed. Now I'm going to wire it up. Okay, if I need to swap fuses, I'm going to just reach my hand in here. Maybe if all the spaghetti is gone, it won't be such a bad deal. But in the meantime, I mean, I'm looking at this going, you know, I want one of these, you know, to fit it somewhere along here. And whether it's, you know, down here by the nameplate or something of that nature, you know, it may be worth it. I don't know. But it's just, I look at this and I go, I don't want this exposed. I don't want to stick this out here. I don't want to stick it on the back side because I'm never going to see it. The only thing I can even think of that it may work is if I place it. You can see it down here by the radio. If I place it like down here, like if I literally put it like there and make it where I can have it there maybe a little higher, you know, something like that, where it's, you know, it's a little bit closer to the within arm's reach of where I need to go. Now this may facilitate me doing a whole bunch of new grounds, but I think that's probably not a bad thing considering, because otherwise with these rigs it's like where are you going to put it? You know, are you going to create another flap over here? You can see I've got this thing this is one of the things I'm trying to put together is obviously this multi-monitor system with a backup camera and some additional power so I can get rid of this jimmy rigged thing that's also wired in here. You know, I could probably swap out the radio because that'll be a radio and put the fuse block right here, but again, I don't think that'll be too attractive for anybody unless I create some sort of cover for it. And again, it's just finding a decent balance between making it accessible and you know, making it practical and just not obnoxious. Like I said, it's kind of a challenge for all of us RV owners that would like to kind of get things cleaned up. Like I said, there's the spaghetti. So I'm gonna think about a couple different places to put this. Obviously my preference is to try to get it close to in here somewhere, maybe even here. I mean, maybe even here. Maybe if I can do it here, I'm just going to shove it under there temporarily, and I can just close this and not have to worry about it being blocking the cover. That may be a cool spot to do it because, again, this is sort of, you know, this thing right here, I mean, it's going to have a separate ground. It doesn't need to ground itself to the frame because it's going to have the grounds and the power leads already put on it. So that might be an option too, where I put that kind of out here and it's just kind of there and I can wire everything up to it and leave that fuse box down there, or maybe put it off to the side or something like that right above this one. So I get a kind of a shorter distance between the fuse block down there and the new one here. I think I might seriously consider doing that. I don't think I'd spin it this way. I think if I spin it this way, I'm going to block myself too much. But if I do it sideways, it may afford me the opportunity to have the minimal amount of wiring alteration. Stay tuned. I'm going to continue this video here.